We all know how amazing and legendary Caitlin Clark is on and off the court, but sometimes there are just these jaw-dropping moments of her doing crazy, alien stuff that forces us to beg the question, is she even human? I mean, here's a perfect example. So, can you guess how many three-pointers she can make in 1 minute and 20 seconds? Well, let's just play this clip and find out. Wait, hold up. Now, I don't want to interrupt y'all, but from the way she's stroking it, it looks like she won't be missing anytime soon. And so I'll just do you a favor and speed this baby up.
2,000 years later.
Anyway, that's just one tale highlighting CC's greatness. And if you're not down with that, here are more crazy stories and stone cold facts that prove Caitlin Clark is built different. Now, to understand how Caitlin can operate at a whole different level, we have to dial it back to where it all began. When CC was just about 2 or 3 years old, she had already been reported to possess exceptional motor skills and coordination. But see, on top of that, the thing that really surprised the people around her was her innate hunger for winning at such a young age.
Why do you care so much about winning?
I think, especially when I was younger, I really struggled with understanding losing, and my parents did not really appreciate that at all. Whenever I would lose, I would just cry. That was my immediate reaction because I couldn't comprehend why wasn't I winning. Like, all I wanted to do was win, no matter if it was a board game, a card game, really anything. Like, I just was gonna do whatever it took to win.
Because of her ultra competitiveness, Caitlin stood head and shoulders above her peers. And since she was flat out trampling the competition, her parents had no choice but to let her compete against bigger and rougher boys.
Growing up playing with the boys, like I played with the boys, honestly, I think until about 6th grade. My parents kind of just knew I was a little more advanced in my skill set from a young age. And looking back, like I never like questioned it. It never was like, oh, why am I playing with the boys? It was just what I did.
I mean, Caitlin was so good at competing against older boys that there was a time when she could have been the league MVP of a boys basketball league if it weren't for the parents of the boys she played with protesting that we can't let a girl be the MVP of the boys basketball league. Anyway, playing hoops is not the only thing she's good at, cause growing up in an athletic household, Caitlin was exposed to and excelled in a variety of sports as well, such as volleyball, football, softball, and soccer. And recently, she took it even up a notch by participating in the Annika Pro-Am LPGA tournament during the WNBA offseason to show the world that she's not just a one-trick pony, but also she can tee it up and hit a birdie. Though she thrived in different sports disciplines, basketball was the sport she ultimately fell in love with, and there's no doubt that she chose the right sport, cause during her time at Dowling Catholic High School, Caitlin quickly gained national attention by racking up monster numbers, especially during her senior year where she averaged 33.4 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2.7 steals per game. But see, as impressive as those stat lines were, there was one outlier game that put Caitlin's name in the headline of every newspaper in the country. On February 4th, 2019, Caitlin dropped 60 points in a 90-78 win against Mason City High School. That number was the second highest single game point total in Iowa's basketball history. And to add on to that, she also splashed 13 three-pointers in that game, which set the state single game record for three-pointers made.
I mean, I never would have imagined I would score 60 points, so like, I don't know, it's kind of unbelievable for me, but it's a pretty cool thing to do.
Because Caitlin was so good at an early age, lots of D1 schools were constantly on the prowl so they could get their hands on her. In fact, according to the recent podcast she joined in, she had been receiving scholarships and heavily recruited when she was just in the 7th grade. Anyway, she eventually settled in her hometown and suited up for Iowa. And during her 4-year stint as a Hawkeye, Caitlin became a living legend, breaking every major scoring record in the history of the NCAA while leading Iowa to 2 national championship appearances. But out of all the records that she shattered and the accolades she has received, there's nothing bigger than what she accomplished last year. On February 15th, 2024, against Michigan, CC scored her 3,528th point with 7:46 left in the first quarter to become the all-time scoring leader in the women's category of the NCAA. And then, exactly 17 days later, Caitlin entered the record books yet again, this time shattering Pete Maravich's all-time Division I scoring record, which stood for more than 50 years, ultimately making her the greatest scorer in the entire history of college basketball.
For college basketball history.
Now, Caitlin's legendary scoring run didn't end there, cause the moment she stepped foot in the WNBA, CC continued dropping buckets all season long. I mean, out of all the 40 games she played last season, CC dropped 30 plus points in 4 of them, and she also had 15 games where she scored 20 plus points. And by the end of her rookie campaign, she cooked up a total of 769 points, earning her the recognition of having the most points among any of the rookie in WNBA history. Now, breaking scoring records is not the only thing where Caitlin is good at, cause even though most people viewed her as a ball hog bucket getter, the numbers show that she's as lethal as a facilitator as a scorer. In case you didn't know, she's the all-time leader in assists at Iowa and the Big Ten tournament, and with a total of 1,144 assists across her name, Caitlin ranked 3rd all-time in NCAA history and is just one of 6 women's basketball players to finish with over 1,000 career assists. Anyway, the same trend spilled over in the W as she etched her name in history books when it came to delivering dimes. I mean, against the Dallas Wings, Caitlin dished out 19 assists, setting the record for most assists in a single game, and after averaging 8.4 assists last season, Caitlin already has more career assists than 83.03% of all players in WNBA history. Man, that's some crazy stuff right there. Well, speaking of crazy stuff, all of those crazy stats and recognition are just byproducts of her innate greatness as a hooper. But see, the Caitlin Clark effect doesn't stay inside the court, as she has become a must-see TV whenever she laces up her sneakers. I mean, the 2024 NCAA championship game between Iowa and South Carolina has attracted a record-breaking 18.9 million viewers, making it the most watched basketball game since 2019. Now, when Caitlin got drafted by the Indiana Fever, a total of 2.45 million viewers tuned in just to see Caitlin shake the WNBA commissioner's hand. But see, here's the craziest part. Last season, the WNBA had a record of 22 games that reached 1 million viewers. And guess what? 19 of those games featured the Indiana Fever and, of course, Caitlin Clark. Anyway, that's a wrap for now, folks. And if you enjoyed this Caitlin Clark content, make sure to give this a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe, as well as turn on the notification bell so you won't be missing out when the next video drops. Until then, this has been the Hoop Doctor. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.